An essential part of all dynamic and vibrant cities is a healthy, thriving business community. Being a business-friendly city means creating an environment that allows businesses to thrive and ultimately creates a city where people will want to live, work, and play. It is businesses that provide the jobs and tax base necessary to maintain the amenities, services, and infrastructure of an attractive and livable community.
I think businesses overwhelmingly pay a good chunk of what runs a city, and they need a voice as far as how that money is being spent or what might impact their business and ultimately how a city can financially run itself.
We've decided as a city council that we want to be a business-friendly address.
To foster the business-friendly city that Aurora is today, in 1990, the Aurora City Council officially established the Business Advisory Board. The purpose of the board is to advise the council on the potential economic and business impacts of city regulations and other actions.
Well, the Aurora Business Advisory Board is extremely important to what City Council does on a regular basis. We'll get their advice on regulations. We'll get their advice on expenditures sometimes. We'll get their advice on proposals that may or may not have an impact on business in the city. They really are the go-to group.
But in that particular
The 11-member Business Advisory Board, or BAB, is intentionally comprised of a broad cross-section of the Aurora business community, from large to small, so that each sector of the economy has a voice.
I think it's very important that every industry have a voice in the BAB, because ultimately each and every one of them will be affected by any legislation, rules, or laws that come through.
You know, with the board representing a good chunk of business owners and types, we can really provide that sounding board of the overall thoughts and opinions of businesses.
And as Aurora changes and evolves, its businesses change and evolve. And that's reflected in the composition of the BAB.
Well, I think the board constantly evolves because of new membership. And because we have, I think, the right staff people working with the board.
Coming from the marijuana industry, I think it's important for me to have a voice, or for my industry to have a voice in any of these decisions that may affect my business, and also to help propel forward business in general in the city of Aurora. So the vitality of Aurora equals the vitality of my industry.
The constantly evolving and broad range of business experience represented on the BAB gives City Council the crucial, diverse perspectives needed for the best decision-making.
And so having the BAB there to provide advice is just about as important as it gets.
While the diverse background and experience of the board is beneficial to the City Council, it also guarantees that meetings are always lively and engaged.
There's great discussions on every topic, and it's not as though we sit around the table and say, yeah, that sounds good. There's a lot of input, a lot of thought that goes into every decision from every person on the board.
The range of topics considered by the BAB each month is as broad as the background of the board members themselves. Issues include everything from the city's comprehensive plan, a new jobs reward program, and even sign codes.
A few years ago, a sign code update was discussed, and I won't say that it's 100% business friendly and it's 100% where it needs to go, but it was a great step. Previously, electronic signs were not allowed at all, and now there's good measures that allow electronic signs, that put good restrictions on them from the citizen standpoint of it not being too bright and not flashing and not, being a public safety issue where, it's going to cause accidents.
It's not very easy to put up a business sign in the city of Aurora. It needs a lot of permits. Well, now that I served in the Business Advisory Board, I understand why. I understand the complications, but ultimately the life and safety that goes behind most of the legislation and why it's being created.
One of the major programs started by the city and now managed and hosted by the BAB is the annual Business Recognition Awards. First established in 2005, the purpose of these awards is to show our appreciation and acknowledge local businesses that contribute to the economic vitality of Aurora. A special recognition is also given to an Aurora business demonstrating a commitment to sustainability, energy efficiency, or other green initiatives. Demonstrating social responsibility and a strong commitment to the community are also important facets considered in selecting the businesses to be recognized with these awards. So no matter the topic or issue being considered or the hosting of special events like the Business Recognition Awards, the ultimate purpose for the BAB is never far from board members' minds: to provide a business-centric perspective to City Council on important issues, with the goal that ultimately this advice will make Aurora a stronger community.
I think that we've seen Aurora thriving over the last 5-10 years, coming out of the recession at least, and a lot of that is due to the fact that they are very conscious of involving all types of groups, not just the politicians, not just the people who work for the city, but they're interested in hearing the voices of all kinds of people throughout the city of Aurora, and that's making the city better every day.